After the essay winners received their awards, Framingham storyteller Libby Frank took the floor to portray Kate Ware Smith, a Framingham resident who became part of the extended Dennison family when her son married Henry S. Dennison's daughter. The Dennisons, a family ahead of their time, showed the family's personal side. Their innovative company employed a good portion of Framingham residents for close to 100 years. Ms. Frank brought Kate Ware Smith's stories to life. She shared pictures and a couple of old films of the Dennisons to add to the narrative. The capacity crowd at the History Center included many people who worked at the Dennison, and even a few members of the Dennison family who came to enjoy this interpretation of their history. This event kicked off the final month of the History Center's Dennison exhibit. The exhibit, which opened in December of 2014, goes through January 30th.
I've been poking around in Framingham history and come across many of these characters while I was researching suffrage, while I was researching the women's prison, while I was doing Mary Ware Dennett. So a lot of the people I was talking about today were like old friends.
My great-grandmother was a Dennison. She and Pop Dennison were sister and brother. Then he married after Mary died, and he was a bachelor for a number of years, and he and my grandmother, Gertrude Dennison, were extremely close. And Pop was an advisor to her when her husband died, and they were very close cousins. And they ended up marrying. So Pop was a lot more in my life after that than he had been before. And so I have some great memories about him. He struck awe in us as even children, because he was had such a brilliant mind. And I remember as a child, even though I was too young to engage in heavy discussions, I was fascinated listening to him. You know, the initiatives that he took in business, from training to stock options for employees to kindergartens in the factory to they're very, very progressive ideas.
I loved the wedding story over at the house on Auburn Street, that pillared house. It was moved from being on the common down that street. And I had been in that house, beautifully decorated, when I did a shoot as Julia Ward Howe. So when I talked about the double parlor and the mantle over the fireplace and the piano, I had seen all of those.
My most favorite part, believe it or not, is the timeline, because it's really interesting to see the progressive ideas of Dennison manufacturing and the innovation that permeated the thinking and the business of the leadership there.